Hi, I'm your host, Lincoln King, and welcome to Building a Business. On today's episode, we'll explore the topic of starting a business in a small town with our guests, Mike and Shirley King, who were born, grew up in, and currently live in Loop City. So, what did you guys do before you decided to own a business?
My first job in a business was at the local grocery store, and that was in high school, and that gave me my first start, of kind of being in business. From there, when I went on to college, I worked at another grocery store in Kearney. And all of that is kind of what gave me my desire to own my own business.
I graduated from college a year before Mike graduated, and I got a teaching job back in Loop City. So he had not graduated, and he had been at the grocery store in Loop City. They offered him an assistant manager's job at the grocery store in Loop City when I came back to teach there. They said that he was too young to be a manager, and the furniture store came up for sale, so we decided to go that direction. He bought the furniture store, and I continued to teach for 5 years.
And I know you expanded. I mean, you owned multiple different stores and different type of stores. What pushed you to branch out into those different types of retail?
A small town because there was a need. The variety store next to the furniture store, the gentleman was driving up from St. Paul and didn't stock the store very well and didn't really push the store. So we kind of talked him into maybe he should sell. Mike started a recliner store in Ord, again because of need. We had a lot of recliners in Loop City. We might as well have some in Ord. But when we bought the variety store in Loop City, there wasn't enough time to work that store, so we closed that store. And all we had to do is we were renting. We could just move out of it. But whatever was a need, when a shoe store went out in Loop City, we added shoes to our store. When the clothing store went out in Loop City, was a need. Same thing. We were at a market and someone told us to stop and look at a store in Fullerton because he was tired of it and getting old and ready to sell. And we stopped and bought that. It fit well because we could have everything we had in Loop City, we could have in the Fullerton store. So we just expanded.
What were some successes you had while you were, learning how to run a business and kind of pushing yourselves? What were some successes you had that boosted morale?
The successes that we had were just, the ability to go ahead and keep rolling and expanding into different areas and different towns. From the original furniture store, then we added the store up at Ord, the carpet and recliner shop. From there, we added the variety store in Loop City. From there, we went to the mall in Grand Island in Conestoga Mall. And from there, after we closed that store, and that was not a super successful store, the overhead was too high, the rent in the mall was very, very high. But after we closed that store, I didn't know if we would do any more stores, branch out anymore. But the opportunity came up to buy the variety store in Fullerton, and we did go ahead and buy that. And then a lady called us from a small town, Ravenna, Nebraska, and we bought her variety store. And we ran all three of them, the Loop City, the Fullerton, and Ravenna, for about 10 years together. Then we sold the store in Fullerton and the store in Ravenna and just shrank back to Loop City. But when we shrank back to Loop City, we went ahead and added a hardware store. Our local hardware store was going out of business, and we basically closed the furniture end of it and brought in the hardware store.
We were in business during the time that Walmart was just becoming a behemoth that it became. And we had our variety stores. We were what Walmart was. We did everything variety for the little towns. A lot of the little variety stores went out of business when Walmart came. They just couldn't compete. People would go there. And then after that came the dollar stores, and that kind of ran out. So our store continued to be a little bit of everything that people needed. But the big boxes, we were lucky to be in business during a time when people they didn't really go out of town to shop. They shopped with you.
What were some of your major setbacks or things that made you think like maybe we can't do this or we shouldn't do this?
I guess the only setback that we really had was the store in the mall in Grand Island. We were down there for 3 years and just couldn't afford to pay the lease on the building, on our space. So we did lose money there. That was an education, a learning experience. But other than that, I can't really think of anything that didn't work for us.
We were lucky enough, again, at the time, we had a lot of family support. Family worked together. We all worked together. We were able to financial support. We had emotional and physical support from the family if we needed it. And so we weren't really hindered. We just were able to continue. And we were wise enough to see if something wasn't working. The mall, we were losing money there, so we closed it. We jumped out of it. So I think the support, the family all worked together in all the businesses and long, hard hours. We a lot of times ran them as ourselves. The Loop City store grew to where we had a lot of employees, up to 10, 12 at one time.
All right. Well, thanks for talking to me today. Hey everyone, thanks for listening until the end of my podcast. If you enjoyed, make sure to check out episode 2, where we explore what it's like to earn money as a teenager. And another huge thanks goes out to Mike and Shirley King. This has been Building a Business. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.